We rely on accountants to be the foundation of our entire financial world. But what happens if the very education that creates them is starting to show cracks under the pressure of the modern economy? Today, we're going to dig into the modern accounting degree and ask a tough question. Is it really getting graduates ready for the challenges of today and tomorrow?
And really, this is the big question, isn't it? Universities are churning out thousands of accounting grads every year, but more and more employers are raising their hands and asking, are these graduates actually ready to do the job from day one?
And look, this isn't just a feeling people have. It's a well-documented problem. Research has confirmed time and again that there's a real gap between what's taught in the classroom and what's needed in the boardroom. And that gap, that's exactly what we're here to unpack. Okay, so before we can figure out what might be missing from the degree, we've got to get on the same page about the absolute fundamentals of accounting itself. Seriously, you can think of it as the language of business. So, the whole theory of accounting, it's basically built on three pillars. You've got assumptions, those are kind of the ground rules. Then you have principles, which guide how you act. And finally, modifying principles, which help you deal with all the messy real-world exceptions. Let's just look at a couple of quick examples to see what I mean. First up, there's something called the going concern concept. This is a huge assumption. It basically means that when an accountant is doing the books, they have to work under the belief that the business isn't about to go bankrupt tomorrow. The idea is that it's going to keep operating for the foreseeable future. And that one idea totally changes how you value things and plan for the long haul. And here's another big one, the accrual concept. This means a company records its income when it's earned, not just when the cash finally hits the bank account. Same thing goes for expenses. Why does this matter? Well, it gives you a way more accurate picture of a company's financial health than just watching money go in and out. These aren't just rules, they really shape how we measure success. So if these principles are the grammar and vocabulary of business, then the real question is, are universities creating fluent speakers, or are grads just leaving school knowing only a few key phrases? This brings us to a really pivotal moment in any accounting student's journey, the intermediate accounting course. This is where the training wheels really come off. It's specifically designed to be the bridge that takes students from just learning the principles to actually applying them like a professional. And let's be really clear about the leap we're talking about here. Intro accounting is all about the basics. Simple bookkeeping, learning your way around a financial statement. But intermediate accounting? Oh, that's a deep dive. It's about mastering complex standards like GAAP and IFRS, and then applying them to really messy, complicated, real-world business problems. I mean, this is where those critical professional-level skills are really built. Students have to learn how to analyze complicated contracts, figure out the best way to value inventory, and even try to predict which customers aren't going to pay their bills. These are the exact skills that get tested on huge professional exams like the CPA. Okay, so with all that in mind, let's pull back the curtain and take a look at how these degrees are actually put together. A recent study of 6 different universities in China gives us a really fascinating look into the kinds of challenges these programs are facing all over the world. So typically, these programs are built around 4 main parts. You've got the general stuff for broad knowledge, disciplinary for the basic principles, professional for those core job skills, and practical to tie it all to the real world. Now, the secret sauce, and where things often go wrong, is all in the balance between them. And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? Take a look. At Guangfa College, almost 44% of the entire program is dedicated to general education. Meanwhile, at Guang'e University, it's closer to 27%. That massive difference represents a huge trade-off, and it cuts directly into the time students have for that core professional training. So the bottom line is pretty simple, right? Every single hour a student spends on a non-professional course is an hour they can't spend on the deep technical stuff that employers are actually looking for. It's a zero-sum game, and if that balance is off, graduates can end up really unprepared. But the imbalance can definitely swing the other way, too. Some schools go all in on practical, hands-on courses. You can see here, 2 of these colleges devote over 22% of their credits to practical training, while another one is down at just 7%. Now, more hands-on training, that sounds good, right? Well, it turns out there's a catch. And here's the hidden danger. The research suggests that if you focus too much on just the practical side, you might end up producing what they call operational workers, people who are great at doing specific tasks, but who don't have that broader strategic thinking to become true applied professionals who can adapt and grow in their careers. Okay, so we've seen the problems. We've seen curricula that are way too broad, and we've seen some that might be too narrow. So what's the fix? How do you actually build a better accounting degree?
One of the most telling findings from the study is this really clear connection. It turns out that higher ranked universities generally do a much better job of striking this balance. They tend to have more well structured, more reasonable programs. This kind of suggests that getting the curriculum design right is a huge part of what makes a great university. So, what's the blueprint for a degree that's actually ready for the future? Well, first off, you've got to get that balance of credits right across all the modules. Then, you have to bring in the future. Courses on AI and digital accounting are a must. You need to offer an international perspective. And, most importantly, you have to focus on creating strategic thinkers, not just people who can follow a checklist. What all of this is really pointing to is a fundamental shift in what it even means to be an accountant anymore. The job isn't just about managing the books, it's becoming so much more than that. I mean, you can see the whole evolution right here. The accountant of the past was basically a bookkeeper. Today, they're involved in really complex stuff like mergers and acquisitions. But the accountant of the future, they're a strategic advisor, someone who uses AI and big data to actually drive business decisions. And the curriculum has to change to build that person.
Which leaves us with this final massive question. In an age where automation and AI are starting to handle all the routine stuff, the what of accounting is changing. The challenge for universities, for employers, and for students is to figure out the how. How do we build an accountant who doesn't just survive in this new world, but actually thrives?